thank God for, you know, the Dems holding back the red wave. And I'm real happy for basically all of that. There's some really shining spots in the country, like what New Mexico did in their child care pre-K system, and all these governors and um, yay senators from Nevada and Arizona. We've got probably need to keep on backing Warnock if we can up in Georgia. Looks like he is really ahead, going to be ahead, but I don't know how this runoff thing works. I don't know if it's got to be over 50% or what. But that's not the reason for this. As I watched my morning TikTok and drank my coffee and did a couple of chores. I don't do a whole lot of chores too much anymore, but I did a few. And I'm still working on my studio here and all that. But I just want to talk a little bit about the disasters that happened, which is called Florida. And then right after that, it's called Texas. Florida and Texas, we both got the big red turd dropped on us. I mean, just went and looked at the voting stats for Florida. Now, quite a bit of this is brought on by the total gerrymandering of the districts in Florida, especially my district, which Al Lawson should have been the state rep for the House of Representatives, but they just completely destroyed this. And it was so gerrymandered and flipped from Democrat to Republican by the DeSantis. It's about time we changed his name from DeSantis to dishonest. He's slick and comes off, but he is really, really a gangster. This dude is horrible. The gerrymandering is just unbelievable. The amount of money going into even the local elections, like here, between Corey Simon and Lorraine Osley, it was an overwhelming amount of money. Lorraine Osley just did not have the advertising power that Corey Simon did, and that was all brought on by the government. And here's DeSantis just bragging about extra money that the state has. The state has hoarded all the money that the feds have sent for COVID relief and everything else. They never spent a dime of it. So all that money that Biden and the Democrats put together for the states to distribute to its citizens was hoarded by the Republicans and then spent. I don't even want to get into the absolute criminals that run the state, gangsters. Rick Scott, Marco Rubio is just a little lieutenant for the Batista fascists of South Florida. It's really, really, really disgusting what's going on here in this place. Now, I'm still proud of Leon County. My county stood up, and it was like 70 something to 30 something, Democrats to Republicans. The next county over, Gadsden County, which has a very large black population too, like Leon County, did the same thing, only better. It was like almost 80% or 82% went for Democrats. That's it. I mean, there was Orlando was the only other pocket, and they gerrymandered the Jacksonville area. We used to get a Democratic guy out of Jacksonville. So DeSantis gerrymandering of the state's districts cost the House of Representatives at least 4 members through illegal, by the way, illegal gerrymandering. Even a court said, it's just too much, man. You can't do. It's obviously in favor of the. And the Republicans just said, well, okay, well, sorry, screw that. So, and then you looked at the voting statistics. It is just dismal. Black people in the state of Florida did not come out and vote. I mean, in underwhelming numbers. Black women, they came out. The small amount of white people that are Democrats came out. But it was pretty dismal. I don't know what it was. I mean, were black people and afraid of the DeSantis vote police? Was that it? Or just apathy? Or you just didn't like Charlie Crisp? Or Val Deming was a police officer? I mean, I'm trying to figure out in my mind what happened. I thought Florida would be not as bad as it was. I knew it was going to be bad. And, and I'm sorry to say it because I like Charlie Crisp, but he was a piss poor candidate. I don't know how he won in the, I don't know what's wrong with Florida Democrats when obviously the gal, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I don't do any of this shit, scripts or anything written down. Wait a second, let me check my notes. I don't have any. So, I mean, she's a tremendous fighter. She would have been in his face. She would have done everything she could. But, Charlie was just so nice. Come on and just run on women's issues. No. Gotta do more than that, man. Anyway, that's all I know. We got the big red turd dropped on Florida. And in Texas, it was the big red longhorn turd that got dropped on that state. That's all I know. And there they have a South Texas Latino thing going on where the Latinos broke, in way bigger numbers than normal for Greg Abbott, one of the worst human beings. Him and DeSantis are two of the worst human beings. Of course, there's always people that will beat them out. There's always Ted Cruz, and there's always our other senator, who I just mentioned his name earlier, but I forgot it already, Rick Scott. And little Marco, wingman for the Cuban mafia. And that's what's going on down there in South Florida. And I think a lot of this might be that the Cubans have penetrated our whole state and really are basically trying to take it over. My wife worked for the government, and she said that, Marco Rubio's little brother was waltzing around the Capitol all the time, walking into offices and talking to people. So I think that Florida has been basically invaded by Cuban Batista fascist people that love the idea of a Florida having a dictatorial type governor for some reason, because that's just what they're they're used to that generationally. It's pretty disgusting. And I've met some young Cuban people that were very nice people that going to the college and stuff here, working retail or whatever. But I've always also met two in particular. One was really a radical. I mean, he's just a gangster, and he's running a computer fix-it shop up here, throwing threats at people, and I don't know. I don't know how much longer I could take. I mean, I've lived in Florida now for 30 some years. It's, you know, my wife's a Southern person, so she has she has a broken heart for the South in general, as do I. But, anyway, that's enough for today. I'll catch y'all on the funny papers. Adios and buenos dias.